Okay, now we're going to start the cut for the wheel well. And you see we have a piece that's not going to quite mount up with our miter, so we're using some safety equipment here. We've lowered the blade to where it's going to meet the bottom of this curve. Okay, we have this angle, or this curve right here, that we need to take out. Next we need to find the angle of the windshield. And we're going to use that to get the angle for our table saw. It's all about the details. So we're going to inset some headlight bezels in the front of this truck. We're going to go ahead and mark that. We want to get most of the things done to the actual cab before we start the rest of it. So I'm going to set my combination square at 1.25 inches and just come up to the edge just to mark a line. And that is going to be the top or the bottom of my headlight bezels. Something I found that was interesting is these older front cab trucks had one end of the headlight bezel was rounded. So I found the perfect thing to use for that is a popsicle stick. And I'm going to mark on my popsicle stick about 3/4 inch. And we're going to line that up so that the line we marked at 3/4 inch is against the side of the cab, and the bottom of the popsicle stick is going to line up with our line that we just drew. Once we have those lined up, trace it out. If everything works like it should, then we'll also be able to use this to make the pieces of wood that are going to inset into this. And I've never actually attempted this before, so we're just going to try out something new and see if it works, see if it doesn't. So as you can see, it's going to match up really well. And like I said before, we can use this popsicle stick to make the pieces that are going to inlay. Alright, one of the other pieces that we have to inlay is going to be the grill. So we're going to go ahead and mark that out. So I'm going to set my combination square at 1.5 inches. And we're going to go 1.5 inches in from each side. And I think I want to go about 2 inches in from the bottom. And that's going to give us our slot for our grill. And we're going to go ahead, use the same depth And we're going to go ahead and cut that. Alright, when we were doing this inlay, or doing the cutout for the inlay, you see everything went pretty well except for right here. We got a little bit out. Even though I was being careful, the wood grabbed it and wanted to go that direction. But that's fixable. So we just need to set our combo square to the edge of that. And do the same thing on this side so it's uniform. Go back to our 2 inches that we set originally. Okay, now we have that cleaned up. We will take our chisel, slightly smooth it out. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing for the side windows. And I still have this set up for the windshield angle when I set up the table saw. So I'm going to use it to draw the one part of the window. And the other thing, same thing to the other side. Okay, I'm going to use the bottom line of the angle for the windshield to draw the bottom line of the window. I'm going to do the same thing on both sides. Now I'm going to set my combination square for 3/4 of an inch again. Draw the back part of the window. Using some scrap black walnut, I used a knife, a pocket knife, just to whittle it down until it was the right width. Slid it in and see that it's squared, and of course it's not level with the surface or anything. We'll take care of that during sanding. So what I did is took it over to the disc sander and worked it, worked a curve in the end, radius in the end, and took this piece with me, and we just sat there and worked it until we got it where we wanted it, and then used the bandsaw to trim it off. Okay, we've got the piece cut for the grill. What I've done is I've gone through here and drawn some lines. I spaced mine out about about 1/8 of an inch. And then went through here and every other line, made some marks. Now we're going to use the awl to make us a starter hole, and we're going to drill holes to make this grill. Okay, using the pattern, we made this grill. Slide up in here. And of course, you know, we've still got to level this down with the rest of the truck. Right, this is the material we're going to use for the frame. We're going to make the frame out of poplar. Okay, as you can see, we've now flattened our inlay. Use a 2-inch hole saw. Now the 2-inch, when they say 2-inch hole saw, refers to the outside dimension, not the inside. This wheel is a reflection of the inside size of this hole saw. And as you can see, it fits right in. So the next bit that I stuck in was this fella. It's 1 1/4 inch, and that's what makes the recess here. I enlarged the 1/4 inch hole big enough to fit this dowel. A dowel here that's a little bit thicker than the wheel. I have found the center of that dowel and used my awl to mark it. And I get it started in the wheel. Use pliers to twist it in just enough where it's even. Now I place my compass point inside of that dent and then mark out the line. I then use my gauge to find the angle, flip it around to make the other side of the angle. Cut the front of the bed, or front of the block off, the first 1/4 inch. Set it to the side, then set my table saw up using the same angle and ran it through, flipped it around, ran it through, and then straightened my blade back up and just went back and so they're a bit wobbly at what, like 3,000 RPM?